It was released yesterday, late yesterday. And the first question you're asking yourself is, in what tier is Caleb Williams? So let's go over the criteria for each tier. You know, you always want to begin your sports day with criteria talk. Tier 1, a tier 1 quarterback can carry his team each week. The team wins because of him. He expertly handles pure passing situations. He has no real holes in his game. AKA tier 1 is our dream QB. Tier 2, a tier 2 quarterback can carry his team sometimes, but not as consistently. He can handle pure passing situations in doses and or possess other dimensions that are special enough to elevate him above tier 3. He has a hole or two in his game. This is a real knock on tier 3 is how I see this.
Well, listen to your definition for tier 3 is going to, go ahead.
But it's like, you just basically don't want to be in tier 3.
That is kind of where we are.
Tier 3. A tier 3 quarterback is a legitimate starter, but needs a heavier running game and or defensive component to win. A lower volume drop back passing offense suits him best. I'm laughing because I already see the names in tier 3. And that's the biggest tier. So then you go to tier 4. What? What is that?
Tier 4 is where you don't want to be.
Tier 4. A tier 4 quarterback could be an unproven player, aka not enough information for voters to classify, or a veteran who would ideally not start all 17
That's why I was laughing.
games.
That's why I was laughing.
And I read it last night, and I laughed last night.
Exactly. And then
I laughed again. And then there's tier 5. And that quarterback is best suited as a backup. Now, I always like to remind people that one of the quarterbacks that was in tier 5 in his own category at the time when the survey came out in 2023 was Geno Smith. And then he got comeback player of the year. So the point is these things are fluid and mobile, and you don't have to be stuck in a play or a situation or a tier like that for very long. That's the cool part, right? This isn't set in stone by any means.
So when you open this up yesterday, right, Leila, this came out and you were like, oh, the tiers are out. Did you have a guess as to where Caleb Williams would be?
No, because I think last season, I guess, you knew he wasn't going to be in tier 1. You thought based on his talent and the flashes, probably if he was in tier 2, it was going to be toward the lower end. But then tier 3, unfortunately, sounds like where he might land.
And where did he land, Leila? Rahimi?
In tier 3. But here's the concerning part. At number 23. So that's behind Drake May and Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold is ranked 20th in this, tied for 20th with Bo Nix. Drake May is ahead of him at 22. And then Bryce Young of the Panthers is one back of him at 24. I guess the good news is he's ahead of Kirk Cousins.
When was the last time you saw Kirk Cousins do anything?
Don't worry about that part. Just think about the money he's made. But that's kind of the point here is it's a muddled and not defined place to be in. So topping that tier is Kyler Murray, who you know has talent. It's just a matter of how it's going to be consistent. Your boy Aaron Rodgers dropped one tier. He was in tier 2 last year. He's now 16th on this list. Then it's Tua Tagovailoa at 17th, Trevor Lawrence 18th, Geno Smith is at 19th, and then the guys I mentioned starting with Bo Nix, Sam Darnold, Drake May, and then Caleb Williams.
And I just want to explain the voting, because there are 50 people voting on this, 50-person panel. And what you did was you voted on all the quarterbacks. What tier do they belong in?
Right.
So the lower the vote, the higher they are. Got it? So, for instance, when we talk about the top of the top with this, and number 1 on this list is Patrick Mahomes. He scored a perfect 1. That means all 50 voters said you are a tier 1 quarterback. Same for Joe Burrow. Josh Allen, a 1.1. He got a 1.1 because 47 people voted him in tier 1 and 3 people said he was tier 2. I just to give people a sense of it.
Good, and also to note the panel of 50 voters. It's not like this is just Mike Sando, and that panel has 6 general managers, 6 assistant general managers, 6 former GMs, 5 other executives, 8 head coaches, and 19 other coaches, including 15 coordinators. So that's how they put this all together. So in tier 1, it's Mahomes, Burrow, Josh Allen, and then Lamar Jackson, who wasn't in it last year. And I messed with Mike Sando about that because I thought that he absolutely can win a game because he's him.
That's how you get to be MVP, right?
He's back in that tier. And then Matt Stafford rounds out the top 5. That's it. Those are the top 5 who were in that category. Do we want to get into what was said about Caleb Williams?
I think we should, because of what you just said as far as what type of people made up that 50-person panel that was doing the voting.
Right. Typically, it sounds, it's very front office heavy. It's very GM heavy. Caleb Williams enters his second season facing questions about his ability to process and play quickly after taking 68 sacks, the third most in NFL history. We know that stat. Quote, "I think that will come in time," a GM said. "Maybe it is a bit like Josh Allen early in his career where he has so much good other stuff that you will live with some negative plays and he gets more snaps under his belt. That part will come." This is pretty much how I feel about him.
Well, the reason I feel kind of this way about him is because he's played one season, he was in a bad situation, and we know the potential that he had coming out of the draft.
Yeah, like I talk about this all the time. The function of the offense leading to players not performing well in the offense, like Cole Kmet, DJ Moore. Do I think that's on Caleb Williams? No. Maybe about 15%, maybe.
Listen, the second quote in the description on Caleb Williams is all telling and all hilarious. This is a quote.
All hilarious.
Well, listen, this is a quote from a defensive coordinator in the NFL. "He's got the talent to go up, but in terms of processing ability and getting the ball out of his hands, it was the worst we played against." So this is a guy who saw him firsthand.
It was the worst?
Listen, quote, "He just holds the ball forever. I'm thinking the ball should go right there. Throw it. And he did not throw it." That's the quote.
Yeah, that is all-time hilarious.
But it's very telling.
The defensive coordinator is telling him where to throw the ball. The defensive coordinator is us.
I'm trying to think of what team that was, and then I'm like, oh, that could be every team.
You have to go through the game log and see maybe where he took the most sacks.
I'm going to say the Vikings. I think he was very bad against the Vikings.
The Vikings discombobulated everything, though. I don't know that you could get to the point where you were saying, oh, the ball should go there.
Yeah, that's how the Vikings end up with, 14 wins?
Now, the Seahawks game that I talk about, well, that was also a weather-related game.
Okay, so a head coach also said about Caleb Williams, quote, "He is definitely a one talent. I just think it's going to take him longer than Jaden Daniels. He is not playing fast right now. There is something there. His processing to me was alarming watching the tape."
Yeah, when processing is the point of concern, that's not good. And just for your awareness, tier 2, Jaden Daniels headlines that at 6th overall.
That's what's crazy, is that Jaden Daniels, taking one pick behind him, headlines it. And the fact that 17 of the 50 voters had him as a tier 1 quarterback and 31 had him at tier 2 and only one in each of the tier 3, tier 4.
After his rookie season. Like that's what takes you back. Like the quotes on Jaden Daniels, for example. "What I respect the most is it never seems too big for him," a defensive coordinator said. "He would stand in the pocket and deliver the ball. Once we saw him running around, it was, okay, he's going to be a problem." And he also, I think, showed his deep ball talent really, really early. That was something that really flashed to me. That's me quoting me. But to consider that is the ability that he has, or at least the respect in the league already commanded.
The scary part is this. A defensive coordinator saying this of Daniels. This dude has got arm, legs, and processing. He just took his team to the championship game with a non-championship caliber roster. And see, that speaks to the tier 1 of this and why 17 people voted for him as a guy who could carry a team, because they view largely the Commanders as a non-championship contending type team until you put that quarterback in there, and then he's carrying them to places no one thought they would go.
The biggest game changer. Do I think that Caleb Williams, even though outright, is better than Drake May? Like, why did Caleb Williams get ranked 23rd and Drake May is 22nd? Like that's, and it's a nitpicky thing because they're next to each other, But sometimes that's where the details lie.
Well, I think it's pretty simple in this. Only, 30 people had Caleb Williams as a tier 3 quarterback, while 34 people had Drake May as a tier 3 quarterback. And so you look at the 15 people that had Caleb Williams at tier 4 compared to just 11 people who had Drake May at tier 4. And that's literally the difference.
But sometimes it's also the bias. Like one of the quotes in here says, Josh McDaniels does a good job of eliminating negative plays with a quarterback. So I think that will help him. So you get proximity bias because you're attached to former Belichick coordinators.
Which is kind of weird because while McDaniels has had good stuff happen, he hasn't been good as, a head coach in other positions. So it's
that guy.
Why
you
are we
want to talk
giving him
about
that
somebody
much?
who's ranked out of production? Like that guy, his reputational votes are. He gets a lot of passes and a lot of credit.
Ultimately, here's what I think of this whole tiers article as it relates to Caleb Williams and the Bears. I hope Caleb sees it. I hope Caleb reads it. I hope it puts an extra large Dorito on his shoulder. And then he works and gets things done and gets rid of the ball quickly in Ben Johnson's system. Because I guarantee you this, if he can get rid of the ball quickly and accurately in Ben Johnson's system, a lot of this will go away.
If he does this even halfway through the season, he's a different guy. I do think it's going to take some time to develop. I'm not making excuses for him, but that's how much I think a year can set you back and bring you down.